Hit the record button.
Oh, that'll help.
That'll help. We hit the record button, mate. And it's our birthday. However, we're not going to. It's not going to be right unless I say because a lot of people don't get to hear this, right? Fuck it. Five, four, three, two, one. Mate,
Blast off.
happy birthday. Blast off. Cheers to you. sir.
Cheers. Blast off.
Yeah. That's Jack Daniels. We weren't going to have a drink, and then Angus said that he had a bottle that he didn't have to pay for because he helped a fella out, and it's Jack Daniels. So happy birthday to us.
This podcast brought to you by Jack Daniels. Drink responsibly.
And Filth Activewear as well. Filth is a sponsor on board, mate.
And get Zen.
Getzen.com.au, the Bearded Hippo in Ipswich, and Market Mafia, the tattoo shop next door. There you go. Look at that. That's something different.
Bingo, bango.
We're in the sanctum,
Chopping up a mango.
chopping up a bingo, bango, chopping up a mango.
We're in the sanctum.
We're in the sanctum.
And we're celebrating.
We're
Why are we
celebrating?
celebrating? Because it's the podcast birthday.
Yeah, well, it's one of these days, man. It's somewhere
Who
in
would
the
have fucking
next
thought?
8 years.
8 fucking years.
8
You
years.
sick of us yet? Sick of me? Just fucking
No, mate.
8 years.
Shroom Code was pretty popular. Everyone enjoyed it, man.
Did they?
Yeah, they had a laugh. It was good for us to be back together.
I showed Shroom Code to not the episode, the song at the start.
Yeah.
Um,
Actually, do you know what? Shroom Code will be at the start of this one. That is the intro
nice,
song.
nice.
See, we're coming up with this live. The people have already heard it.
Well, what killed me was this kid at work. Fucking, I was like, oh, dude, I made this song and put it on a podcast. Here, have a listen. He's like, oh yeah, it's really good, man. Yeah, me and my friends made some songs. Here, listen to my ones, and it's fucking awesome. And I was like, fuck, that's actually like a song.
Yeah.
It's like dubstep with
Yeah, overlaying drums. What was it?
yeah, straight up like. But then in the middle of it, there's little sample cuts, and I don't know if you've ever seen the meme. It's the two pommy kids that obviously aren't tough, but they're acting tough.
Yeah.
Like, man, I'm the fucking king of the streets, man. I'll fucking roll ya. So it's just that little clippets of that voice rolled into this
right.
robots having sex sound. But it's fucking. I was like,
It's good.
It's
It's good.
tight, man. I like that. That's cool. I
Yeah.
respect that.
Mate, hey, can you just send it? If it's cool, send it in, man. We'll put it on the podcast.
Yeah, we should.
You should.
We should.
Yeah.
'Cause that absolutely had me rolling.
Yeah.
He showed me a few different ones. They were decent. But then this one, I had tears. I was fucking bobbing my head back and forth, tears rolling out of my eyes.
Right. So it's like
Same time.
funny.
It's funny, but like a banger at the same time.
Right.
It's got a good fucking. Have you seen the one? There's a clip of what's his name? I'll say it. I'll say the words and see if you're. It's the one that's like, I like to butt fuck fine ladies. Have you heard that one?
No, I haven't.
Kenny
Welcome
Powers.
to the 8th birthday. I'm not going to go.
No, it's Kenny Powers, the dude, whoever plays Kenny Powers as a character. I can't remember his name right now,
Right.
but he's like a average ultra chad kind of
Right.
thing. Like he's got mullet and fucking
Look, man,
pit
you got
vipers on
to
and stuff
you got to
like that.
try and bat above your average if
Dude,
you can.
it's
You know,
fucking
look, I
hilarious.
tell you what, I knew a dude. G'day, Jay, if you're out there. Jay's a top little fella, but he had a plan, right?
I like a man with a plan. Tell me
And
more about it.
he's a little fella, a bit cocky, and excellent chef, by the way, one of his many skills. Anyway, his plan back in the day was he just cut to the chase. He'd just walk up to a chick and I'd say, do you want to fuck me?
Yep.
And look, he got slapped a few times, you know what I mean? But he's like, mate, every now and again.
Yeah.
Every now and again.
You start to be able to read a room.
That's right.
Like
exactly.
when you collect that kind of data,
Once you got to with its tiles on the mirror ball, bro, once you can see it from all
you can read a
perspectives.
room. So I used to call it slut eyes. Right? You walk into a club or a pub or whatever on a bit of a busy night, and as you hit that door, it's chicks that are looking too. Like
Yeah, of course
if
they
it's a
are.
club,
Yeah.
so if you
That's
scan
actually
the room,
understanding the feminine is there's a few recent epiphanies. They're just as bad as us, if not worse.
but yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So you scan the room, and I used to call it slut eyes. So you'd make eye contact with like four birds around the room, and you're like, boom, it's one in this place. It's one of those four because they all made
Because
up.
they're
We
looking
all
as well. Everyone's looking.
exactly because they're not.
It's just
Women
a
aren't.
jungle, bro.
And they're not
It's
always
just a
fucking.
jungle,
They're
man.
not always ovulating, bro. So you got to catch them when they're ovulating because they're like, damn, I fucking feel like some
Yeah,
dick.
yeah. It's their timing. Life is about timing. But yeah, well, look, we are back, aren't we? Celebrating. That's a hell of a start. We
Love to butt fuck fine ladies. No, but imagine like a
unlocked and unleashed? Is that what we decided to call this?
I guess
It
you
must
just
be.
you
It
did.
must be.
You did.
It must be.
Fucking must be. Back from Shroom Code.
Yeah, back from Trip
Yeah,
Code, like
found
5
myself.
months later. Yeah, straight back into it. Didn't even pick up the
How we roll.
vibration. Just tuned straight back in.
You ready for another drink there, mate?
I'm on my way, mate.
This is well, chop chop. This is a celebration. Come on.
We're not here to fuck spiders. I mean,
Yeah.
what's going on, mate?
We are fathers of small children. You know the window is fucking closing.
That's right. Yeah, we can get a couple of drinks in before 10, and then it's when they're done. Yeah.
10 before 10, you're all good.
Well, do you know, it used to be, and you would probably know this actually.
Yeah.
It was 8 before 8.
Yeah, well, yeah.
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 8 before 8, you still blow zeros the next day, mate. As long as you have a big feed, you'll be right.
We realised we could go 10 before 10.
Did you
Like
really?
you could just push it to that limit. Yeah.
Not every day though. Like it,
Oh, fuck, not every day. No. That was a bigger night and still blow zeros.
it's
next
just
day.
though. Like yeah.
Oh yeah, no, but we got it down to that fine
doing
edge.
Tic Tacs in the morning time.
You've got the morning routine.
Yeah. You've got there's certain things that need to be done.
When you make your Vegemite toast, you put it on extra thick. You know, you need that Vegemite. You need that. You know, brush your teeth twice instead of once. Tic Tacs, breath strips.
Bit of gum never goes astray, mate. Yeah, we'll have it.
And when in doubt, just get your mate to blow in.
Yeah, that's true. No, we never did that. Of course we did
No,
that.
never.
Of course we did.
Mate, I've blown in and stayed in my room before.
Oh, mate. I
Because someone went up, got me a sticker and like blew in, got me a sticker and fucking gave it to me.
Yeah.
And I stayed in my room.
Yeah.
And they didn't know I was there.
Right.
The boys just covered for me.
Yeah, they don't know, man. I had a dude who knew he wasn't going to blow zeros and blew anyway.
Oh, nice.
Like, I'm like, dude, why didn't you just tell me? Like, there's ways and means around this. You know what I mean? Everyone has rocked up a little too dusty.
Yeah.
And I did him a favor, so he does me a favor, and that favor might be for you. You know what I'm saying? Like we can work this out.
Yeah, you pass it around.
Yeah, we can work it out, but you got to tell us because now we got to do paperwork, man. Now there's a whole you've triggered a process now.
Yeah.
We can't delete it, can't wipe it. It's in this. That whole idea is they keep it. That's the fucking record in the system.
Can't turn back time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've set off a chain of events.
Yeah, exactly. I can't do anything. And I was a supervisor. I'm like, dude, what did you do that for? Like, you've set off exactly. You've set off a chain of events that can't be undone now. Like, I have to make phone calls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and I also have to fucking make your life a bit shit.
That's right.
Because you're making my life
exactly.
shit.
The
By
shit
being so
rolls downhill.
stupid.
Yeah,
And
shit
now
rolls
I have
downhill.
to fucking do this.
Now you're in trouble.
Exactly.
And but there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Because next time you'll fucking talk to me.
Yeah,
cunt.
exactly. Talk to me, man. I don't think I'm going to blow zeros. That's okay, dude.
All right, man.
All right.
Thanks for coming to see me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. And then on another day, I might not be able to blow zeros depending on what time or type of mood I was in back then.
Hey,
and mate,
that,
can you just
remember that time? Remember that time? Yeah. Fucking how was that, brother? Sailors.
what goes around comes around,
Exactly.
mate. But yeah, I'll fucking anyway. Back in the gas days, that was in the middle of nowhere. In fact, well, it's pretty trippy, right? Because funny that I think about that. That's out there on the roads to Wandoan, which is the middle of fucking nowhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the arsehole of the earth is you can't. It's not there, but it doesn't fucking feel like it's far.
You can
away.
smell it.
Yeah, smell it. It's there somewhere. You know what I mean? You're on the right path. You know what I mean?
It's musky.
Yeah, you're heading in the right direction. Okay. Yeah, but that's where the idea for the podcast actually started. out there.
Yeah.
Because I started, someone put me onto Joe,
Yep.
which put me onto Dan Cullen, which put me onto, you know what I
Yep.
mean? And then I fell down the rabbit hole, right?
Yes.
And that was like must have been 2014,
Yep.
I think, was when I started listening to Joe, because that's when I
Yep.
was out there, end of 2013, 14.
It's about the right time.
Yeah. And I fell down the rabbit hole. And then I realized, hey, I used to do radio. I've got a good head for radio, which is the reason we haven't had video the whole time. However, yeah, I did radio. I could do a podcast. That'd be fun. You know what I mean? Like,
I know what you're saying.
that's where the idea was born, man. Like driving out in the middle. You've driven the same roads, man. There's nothing out there for hours. That's how everyone found podcasts out there, because that was the best way to kill the time from
you need
Chinchilla to Wandoan.
downloaded
You know what I mean?
stuff too, because you didn't have any service.
Yeah. You had to make sure it was downloaded on your phone. Yeah. Well, I was supervisor, mate. I had this laptop, and I had this thing that come out of the top of the laptop and had like 2 attachments, and then we ended up out of Wandoan.
Yeah.
We jerry rigged an aerial off the top of the container, so we can improve the signal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not there's not approved procedure. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we hooked up an aerial, ran a fiber cable through the window, and attached that to the antenna. It was like Nikola Tesla, man. I'm collecting free energy out of Wandoan.
Balls full of mercury.
Yeah, exactly
suspended
right.
above the tower.
Yeah.
And wondering why the government made mercury illegal.
Yeah.
Why is it so? It's so dangerous. We're not allowed near it. Yeah, better not touch it.
Well, let's take a left turn, considering it's us and we're back and it's unlocking the code.
Don't experiment.
What? Don't drink mercury. That's not a good idea.
No. Spin it though.
Spin it. Oh yeah, no, we need to spin it. So let's bring it back UTC style. In the pyramids in South America, they found pools of mercury. Right? Mercury is not a naturally occurring thing.
Didn't
is
think
it?
so.
Google that, Jamie. Oh, sorry.
Jerry. Thanks, Jerry.
John. Where's John? I wonder whether John could be the watcher.
John.
I'm not going to talk to him. He's probably going to hear this. I better talk to him now before I release this.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah.
Anyway,
how would you have the contact? Would you have him in the room or
we're on Zoom, dude.
Zooming?
He could dial in from wherever he is if he can,
Perfect.
and he could be the watcher.
Could he dial in from like different locations?
Well, no, yeah. Listen, we are really behind the scenes, aren't we? This is a fresh thought. I actually, you know what I mean? When you think and shouldn't speak that, like that was an idea that hadn't escaped my mouth until I was on the record. So,
what if here's an idea. What if we have a guest watcher?
Yeah, do you want to be the watcher? That's a good idea.
Yeah, the watcher.
Send me a message if you would like to be the watcher one night. That's a good idea. We get a pool of people who would like to be the watcher.
Sick idea.
I'll shoot a text out. You give me your mobile numbers. I'll shoot you a text when we do a show.
Yep.
Can you be the watcher tonight?
Yep.
No is totally fine.
Yep.
Fuck off is totally fine if that's how you feel. You need to say that. That's cool,
we'll
man.
run with no watcher. That's fine.
Yeah, no watcher's fine. But if you would like to be the watcher,
just say yes.
let us know.
Dial in.
Just send me a message on Insta or Facebook.
Yep.
And yeah,
send you a link.
Send me a link, and we'll figure it out. That'd be cool. That's a great idea for our 8th birthday.
That's excellent.
But yeah, man, no, that's
quality, mate.
Quality.
8 years in, still delivering.
Oh yeah, still
from mounds of cuntiness to
well, the wall's not there anymore, is it?
The bottom, now we're here.
The wall's not there anymore.
No, we chopped it up.
Yeah, the window's there now. There's no wall there. But yeah, you're totally right. From mounds of cuntiness, yeah. And see, let's explore that for a second, right? Because that was actually a really good concept, and I think it's something that we've actually unconsciously or consciously and subconsciously continued to work on, right?
Can you remind me?
Yeah, of course.
I know I coined it, but I can't remember what the
well, it was back
methodology.
The methodology was right. So, you've got camera, right? So you've got mounds of cuntiness, right? So sometimes you're good, sometimes you're a good cunt. Sometimes you're a shit cunt.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the idea is to get the mounds of cuntiness, you need to be bobbing along that center line.
Yes.
Right?
No, I remember now.
I think on the wall it was reduce the mounds of
mounds of
cuntiness.
cuntiness.
That's what we wrote in red permanent marker on the wall, and that never came off. Like we painted that
Yeah,
10
I
times, and it
remember
came
seeing it
through the
through the
wall.
paint, yeah.
It was like a horror movie. You know what I mean? It was slowly emerging from the wall.
Yeah,
Reduce your mountains of continence. But it's still a good concept, man. You need to do that. If you think about that,
Definitely is.
you've got to, you know, life is highs and lows, man. Talking
Yep.
about 8 years in a podcast, 200 and whatever it is episodes, 30 something, I think now. Life is ups and downs, man. Right?
100%,
And you've
yeah.
got to find that middle ground and just don't bob too much from that middle ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's true.
Or if you do
We didn't
stray,
talk about the Mercury, but we're on another track now.
yeah, keep up.
Yeah.
If you do stray from the path, remember we were talking about
Yes.
when you fucking fall into the rut. Remember that one? You slide off the road, fall into the rut. Remember
I got
that?
you. I'm with you.
So if you imagine falling into the rut is the bottom of a mound of cuntiness, well, it takes more effort to get back up. This is why you're reducing your mounds of cuntiness.
Yes, that's right. If you because if you don't fall as far down the hole, you can just step out of it. You know what I mean?
It's easier to get out of.
But yeah,
100%.
that one was trying to envision. Oh, hang on a second. That's right. That one was trying to envision, right? So because we're Aussie, we grew up in the bush. We grew up rallying cars. Like
Yes.
I was rallying a Toyota Corona at 11. You
Yep.
know what I mean? Like
I remember.
yeah. We crashed that into a tree. Actually, crashed that into a tree. Put a chain around the tree, around the radiator support. Pulled it back out, and it just went back into place, man.
Yep.
We drove that car for another year.
Yep.
And then my mate crashed it.
I had a 74 two-door Corolla. Fucking
74 two-door. That's a nice car now.
if
If
we
that
had
is a
looked
nice
after it,
car, man.
if we had have looked after it, but it was already kind of banged up. It was a touring car.
Oh,
it had
yes,
a roll
you've told me
cage
about
in
this.
it
Yeah.
and shit like that. So anyway, had that, a Gemini and a Falcon. Indeed. So
Yeah. Anyway, so we've been driving cars on dirt since forever, right?
Oh, I was going to say, none of them, all those cars, couldn't kill them.
No.
Like, put a brick on the fucking throttle and just valve bounce it. You get sick of the sound before fucking anything happens.
Do you know, I had a car like that. I had a Sigma wagon when I first moved to Queensland back in 06, 07, 05, 06.
Sigma wagon, that was
Sigma
fucking
wagon, man.
sick, bro.
Mine was a GE, dude. It had the gold mags on it. Had the little Rolls Royce SE badge on it, man. I've still got that somewhere. I'm pretty sure I'd nicked it when the velour seats, the tan interior, 5-speed manual with a 2-litre, man, little wagon. It was a fast little car, man. And actually, stories. There was a bloke, I can't remember his first name, but his last name, they called him Greenie. So he must have been someone green, right?
Yep.
One of the boys I was hanging out with back in the day, like 20 years ago anyway. He had a Calais, VSVR, green over grey, right? The two-tone, just with a V6 in it, right? And anyway, I saw him on the way home and I knew where he was going, right? And he'd been given a bit of shit to the Sigma, you know what I'm saying? But his combo was auto, my car was manual.
Yep.
Right? And I thought, you know what? I was just in that mood, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Young, and just went, you know what? Let's have a fucking play.
Let's fucking see how she goes, mate.
Right? So I hung off his rear bar. Like I was right there, and I got him as well because he zigged when he should have zagged, had to slow down. I got him, and the thing, unbeknownst to me, he had 2 chicks in the car. And anyway, a fun night was had by all after that. However, and I got to say the line. He's like, that Sigma's pretty quick. It's not the car. It's the driver.
No.
Yes, bro. I got to say it for real, no bullshit.
That's fucking hilarious.
And he just sort of looked at me. Yeah. Anyway, the analogy was, right? Oh, the reason you said shit boxes that won't die. That thing wouldn't die. I busted my shoulder, right, when I broke my shoulder playing footy. I'd had the car for ages. I had the feelers out to say, hey, I've got a car. Who's got a paddock? Put in $50 and we just, for fuel, and we drive this thing until it explodes.
Yep.
You know what I mean? We'll smash the windscreen if we have to. You know what I mean? Like whatever needs to be done, right?
Just keep it moving.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Right? We will rally drive this thing until it explodes.
Yep.
Got the shits with it, looking at it. We'd broken my shoulder. I was also on a fair amount of pharmaceutical medication. I just got the shits with it.
Yep.
And I got $800 for it. Scrap was high back then. And sent it to the scrappers. No bullshit. 3 days later. Hey, bro, got a fucking paddock to fucking rally drive that Sigma. I'm like, you fucking joke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just one of those times,
One
you
of
know?
those times.
You know what I mean?
And you know what? Life's full of those.
Exactly. You got
Those-
to
life's full
roll
of
with it,
those
man.
times,
It's like
but-
you made the call.
But you also
Do
know
or
what?
do not, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. But you also know what? I feel like they fade. They fade into insignificance, you know, those times. They're harder to remember. Those because they were learning. They were a learning curve and you learnt your lesson and you moved on.
Yeah.
You get me? Whereas, you know, the more positive memories for me anyway are the ones and I guess it's some extreme negative ones, but the more positive ones are the ones I remember better.
I think trauma is a different category.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But look,
because I'm saying memory, you're right. It is a different category. Trauma is a different category because memory and trauma bring different feelings.
yes, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, no, well, we're talking about rally driving cars because the analogy is, right? If you can imagine, and for us, the way, and for men in particular, right? Imagine the cleanest, like clay base, nice bit of gravel, but enough for grip, but not slip.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm here.
It's about 5 meters wide.
Yep.
And it's just through the bush, but it's got, you know what I mean? It's got nice bank corners. You've been the dirt track through the hills of your dreams, mate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. What was this track?
This is your life, bro. This is what it could be.
Oh, right.
Right? This is your life.
Yes.
Is the most amazing dirt track you've ever fucking seen, right? However, because but cancel shit. It is. It can be if you choose it to be. Right? However, on either side of the road, there's a spoon drain.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And like we just said, if you can reduce your amounts of cuntiness, those spoon drains don't get as deep. But if you don't learn your lessons, like we're saying, if you don't live and learn and try and fix yourself or attempt to understand that it was probably mostly your fault, right? A lot of the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Although there was at least always something different you could have done. You know, it might
You
not
bear
be
some
your
responsibility.
fault, but yes, exactly. Ownership. Yeah.
You do, man. If you are participating in a situation, right, you bear some responsibility. So, here's another one one of the other epiphanies that came to me over the last few years, right?
Yeah.
Is once you know you're crazy, right, you can't be crazy anymore, man, because crazy people don't know that they're crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So once you understand that you're sitting there in a fur vest, I'm in a tie-dye shirt. You know, we are crazy. We've been doing this thing for 8 years. We're still here.
Fly your freak flag.
Exactly,
I believe
man.
was the same.
Yeah. Let your
from
freak
8
flag
years
fly.
ago.
Yeah, let your freak flag fly. Exactly, right?
That's the one.
So, but once you understand if your brand of crazy is affecting you or other people negatively,
Yeah. Well,
once you recognize that you can't do it anymore, that's your responsibility because you've allowed it. Now you're allowing it. Once you understand that you're doing it, you're allowing it now.
I know. And the thing is, right, crazy is a spectrum.
Yes.
It's the human spectrum.
Oh, yeah.
We're all on it. We all vary. And we can superposition as well. We can be in two places at one time.
Yeah. It's
So
the hot crazy matrix.
And that thing can come and go. You know, it's working in waves as well.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. Well, your life, your age, man.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, we're 42. Like we started this when we were 35, 30. You know what I mean? That seems like a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like
that's a very transitory age.
Yes, man. Yeah.
It's a lot of old age and fucking fake wisdom.
Look, considering that we're drinking, full disclosure for those new coders in the room, you go back to episode 1 through, I don't know, 20 or something, there's every chance that we are drunk, okay? All right? Because we took playing poker and it was pirate, but my wife named it pirate poker, right?
I remember you've told this one.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just were fucking
writing ourselves off, like.
But like it was a weird response around the table also, the pirate poker, because you couldn't understand what we were saying.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But yeah,
I've told that. I don't told that recently.
Talk about written off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But whereas these days, Kath now, because so you know, Kath now calls it you and your mafia up there playing cards. And it's like, well, yeah, but look, listen, everyone's gentrified. We're fathers and
Definitely,
husbands.
definitely. I remember
Yeah, we're fathers and husbands, and
the
we
drinking was somewhat competitive when we first
yes, it
in those
was.
first
Yeah,
few.
yeah. How much can you,
Yeah,
how strong can you pour, and how
yeah.
much can you drink?
There was a little bit of machismo
Yeah,
happening, you know.
but isn't it funny? So we haven't had one in a little while because the wannabe cyclone cancelled the last one. But let's not talk about that. Um, but the one before that, actually the last two or three before that,
Mm.
and this is how we've matured. We will drink pretty hard from like 6 till 9, maybe 10.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, who wants a coffee or who wants a green tea? And everyone goes, yeah, I'll have one of those. And that's about the time the misso brings the sausage rolls and the slice in, and we're having a coffee, and you know what I mean? Slowly sobering up because we understand what's going to happen the next day.
Gentrified.
Gentrified,
Yeah,
bro.
man. 100%. That's what
It's
happens.
what happens, man, but it's okay.
It's just
I'm actually really enjoying the process.
100%. I've definitely got used to this life now. I'm not in that position of like fucking adjustment
No,
anymore. I'm definitely plateauing
Mm.
into this life.
it's nothing wrong with it, bro. It's good. It's good. You just get, we don't, but it's like, yes, we're gentrified, we're all fathers and husbands and all that sort of stuff. However, if you've got a seat at my poker table, everyone there can lean in real fucking quick if we need to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
I know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, brother.
If you
I
make
know
it to
what
the
you're saying.
table, there's a reason you are sitting at that table. Anyway, actually, Knights of the Round Table talk about 8 years. We did like the Magnificent Seven, and there was a couple of poker night podcasts that actually were really, really good.
Really?
Yes, I think the
Oh,
Magnificent Seven is actually a really good show if you listen back to it,
yeah.
because everyone was respectful, and we had it was when I first got the mics. We had them on the swing, and like
Everyone was trying.
everyone was trying. Yeah, yeah, everyone tried to make it a good
I'm
show.
actually pretty sure I remember that one. I tried to share the mic time as much as I possibly could.
Well, it was me and you back then. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, and I remember the guys being a little bit quiet.
yeah, and we were trying to get them to open
Like
up. Yeah.
I was trying to not talk, and they're
Yeah.
like, "You're making me. I can do this. We do
Yeah,
this all
we've
the
done
time.
this. Yeah,
We've done this before." But trying to share that time with you now, but I
I
mean,
wonder, and I don't know
well,
the
that's why
answer.
we used to get so drunk, wasn't it? Because
Yeah,
our first times when you got to listen back to yourself and talk shit on the mic, you're like, "Oh, I need some lubrication."
yeah. Well, it was about a confidence thing too. It was like,
Definitely
we were
false
false
confidence.
confidence. Yeah, and it look, some of those ones I've listened back to them. The swearing is, we were drunk. You know what I mean? Like I think,
What's changed?
yeah, well, nothing from you.
I refuse to control
I know,
myself.
I know.
It gets in the way of artistic
It's,
license.
listen, whatever, man. Did you know? Did you listen to the intro Shroom Code? In the intro Shroom Code, I said I've given
Yeah.
up.
I did actually. Yeah.
The white flag is up.
You know what I also noticed? No, you stole my bloody disclaimer introduction. You put it in the introduction as well.
Yes, I did.
I was
Yeah,
like, you copyright bastard.
and I used it on
Stealing my shit.
Politics Down Under as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
See, fucking great minds, mate.
Yeah, yeah. No, no. Well, both of those probably needed it, right? This one
Yeah,
probably
both
needs
of
it as well. Any stories that you hear
Yeah.
tonight are fucking
Oh, I don't know. It might be a language warning.
yeah,
I don't know
language
if
warning. Yeah,
I don't know if I've got any fresh good stories. Haven't
but
covered
mate,
any
after
up.
8 years, we've got a lot of new listeners, man. A lot of people,
Yes.
because we haven't been doing a lot together. A lot of people wouldn't. You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy, dude. If you just contemplate it,
this flow and this chat, it's OG.
yeah, man. Well, I think what I like about the Sanctum, and like obviously we've still got the big blank purple spaces. I'm adjusting to my new job. I'm settling in,
It's all
and
good,
we're
man.
going to
Don't
move.
focus on it.
I know.
Let's just move past it.
It's
It looks good, but
I know it's
it
just
is what it is.
it's blank.
Yeah,
Just
and it's going to slowly get better.
anyway,
Then
I was talking about
it's
the
gonna
energy.
evolve.
I
Yes,
think is
yes.
I closed. Do you know what
Focus on
happened
the
just then?
energy.
Do you know what just happened then? I closed my eyes and saw it how it's going to be, and then I
Yeah.
opened them and went, oh, right, because I've got the vision in my head.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's there.
Yep.
But I think the the energy of the Sanctum is old but new. You know what I'm saying? Like I think the rebuilding has, and me finally manifesting. Actually, here's something interesting, right? The stitching on this is the second version of the tie-dye polo, right? That I actually haven't fitted for a long time, and it's loose on me now, which is pretty cool. However, how I was chasing purple, like the blue studio, the stitching's purple, man.
Really?
Yep. On the second version.
Oh, I see. Yes, yes, yes.
So I was trying to bring purple into the show, man.
Yeah.
Right. And I think because this room is now what it is, it's brung my energy back because
Yeah.
it's actually me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I think, whereas when we started it, I was just like, yeah, fuck it. But man, ups and downs, dude. Running a podcast is no like, especially like, can I just rant for a second? Content creation, man,
Yeah.
has changed so much in 8 years. You know what I mean? Like, and the problem that I have with it is the person that I feel I'd need to become in order to become more popular in today's content creation sphere. Not only does it take time, I don't think people, like as a content creator, I don't think people understand how long it takes, right? One of the things when Benny was here, one of the first times he was here, because he's a big fan, you know what I mean? He's like UTC #1, man. He's got the ticket, right? However, he wanted to see me edit a show,
Yep.
right? And look, I'm a bit faster now. This was a few years ago, but it still takes, like, I released a show before we did this, right? I'd been working on that on and off this evening. You know what I mean? It probably took, and that was a 20-minute show. Probably took 45 minutes to stitch together. Now, that's an audio show. That's not video, man, right?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have any idea the amount of videos I have in a back catalogue? I've got hundreds, dude,
Yep.
right? But it takes time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I am still a husband. I am still a father. I still have a full time. You know what I mean? I still work every day. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, brother.
it's and it
You've only got a small window to work with.
Yeah, that's right.
So it takes, you can only create as much content as you can create, as your time will allow.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
mean, but these guys that are doing this content creation all the time, like they are doing it. It is a full time job. Like that's what they
Yeah.
do.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In order to break into
and,
that market.
and there's a staff and there's a level of investment and buy-in to pay for studios and sound and video and someone to edit and someone to do it on the fly.
Yeah,
and
look,
then the social media and all of that sort of stuff.
we've had a very few excellent, awesome, loyal Patreon for the last little while, and I really appreciate that. It's really helped. It just helps with the running costs of the show. And if you want to follow, I suck at Patreon. I actually changed. I did something on Patreon for the first time in a while. Updated the studio and all that sort of stuff. I figured I better give the awesome people something.
Yes.
And thank you to those who do support me on Patreon. I really appreciate it. However, it's all me, man. And you and the boys and whatever time we can spare. And you know what I mean? That is what it is. You know what I mean?
No, but that's the thing. Like ultimately, when you say a 20-minute show, it takes 45 minutes to edit. So it's like double the time to edit than what you actually see invested on the screen.
Yeah. And well, the thing is, you've got to create the intro, then you've got to cut and shut it, then you've got to join it. You know what I mean? Like it just takes, there's just a process, man.
Yeah, man.
It just takes time.
It takes time. And you only have a limited amount of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's a really good point, man.
But I've got kudos to those that, that there's a lot of the stuff in our sort of genre, the megalith, real people and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
There's a fair few. I mean, I think I respect it because I know how much fucking time they're putting into it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that is almost like their zero focus. You know what I mean? Like they're doing that to get those thousands of likes.
Yeah. Well, and then, on the other side of things, there's the moral fucking decisions that we've made along the way, about doing different things at different times to try and increase exposure and marketing and stuff like that. And I don't know, those discussions, my memory of those discussions go back to it didn't feel organic, to chemically increase your range.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the other thing, and you're touching on something that's totally true. Understand that a lot of influencers have paid their way to get into the top 100 or 50. Like once they get traction, sure, they're going to start to accelerate organically.
It's breaking through.
But they pay to break through. Do you
like-
remember it was like 20 grand or some shit? That
like
remember
a
that meeting
DMT
we
blast
did?
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that meeting we had years ago, and he wanted 15 grand a month or something. And he couldn't answer our questions, remember? Because I said, okay, that's cool. What do I get for 15 grand a month? Am I in the top 50 for fucking X amount of? Remember, I started grilling him and he couldn't answer the questions?
Yeah.
Because it's bullshit, man. They basically artificially up your downloads and get you into those top 50s, right?
Yeah. Using bots or whatever they're using.
Whatever they're using, man. You know what I mean? And they pay to get that bump.
Yeah.
Right. It's tens of thousands of dollars in order to do that.
Yeah,
like,
man.
and
that's the crossroads.
yeah, man.
You know,
and don't think that I haven't. I still get through the podcast email. Would you like 3,000 followers? You know what I mean?
Like, the man in the black coat.
Yeah.
Standing at the crossroads.
And I never wanted to do that, man. You know what I mean? It is what it fucking is. This is not UTC 3, man. Like, you know, dude, we got 2 original discoveries. Imagine that. If I said to you 8 years ago, we're going to be on studio version, official version, well, the podcast is going to be version 3, the studio is going to be version 11, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to have 250 episodes, 240 episodes. We're going to have original discovery that we found here in Queensland, not 2 hours from our thing. We had a secondary discovery there this year with the Palladian discovery, right?
What was that thing on Facebook you posted of that chick unearthing that thing? What was that? Because that looked similar to the Jinnabara ones.
Yes, it did look similar.
What was that? Can you explain?
No, because I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So I swear she had a brush or something or a blower and like exposed this rock imprint that looked a lot like
that was
Jinnabara one.
that's Sarah, someone friends with Vicky Burke through Gosford Glyphs, blah blah blah. Yes, that is a marking that, and I've got to reach out. Thank you for the reminder. I want to reach out to that person and have a discussion because
I think you're right. I think it was Sarah.
Sarah, someone Blakeway, maybe, I don't know, but one of them does a podcast anyway. That is an imprint marking from somewhere near the Gosford Glyphs.
Gotcha.
Right. You got to remember where the Gosford Glyphs are. Like as the crow flies, like 700 meters is the biggest set of indigenous glyphs, right? And I've got all photos and that. We went down there and did the research trip, and that's been found in that area, right? I mean, one of the big reasons I want to go back to the Gosford Glyph area is not necessarily. I would love to go and see the glyphs again; they're amazing. However, there is a number of rock outcroppings on the way to the glyphs. The glyphs are found in a rock outcropping.
Yes.
I want to systematically go to every rock outcropping in the surrounding area and have a look.
Yeah.
Right. And if those of you that are down there, and I know there's a few boys down there, you want to start those explorations, then let me know. Right. Because I want to head back down there and do that.
Yeah.
Because there's more to be found in that area. That story. And look, between you, me, and the fence post on our 8th birthday, right? The Gosford Glyphs, and you know this, and I know this.
Yeah.
They are at least 1,500 years old. And I know that pretty much for a fact. However, I can't say that.
But why can't you say that?
Because I'm waiting to do it properly. Okay?
Oh, right.
I'm waiting. That is initial understandings of the research that was done.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, but I can't. I want to be.
Were you part of this research?
Yes, of course it was. I was the one that took the samples.
Right. Yes. I remember now.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
good
did some,
secret.
We
good
did.
secret.
We did some imprints, man. We did some imprints.
Yes, I know. You can't speak of that yet.
No, not yet.
Oh, why not?
It's on its because well, no,
Why does science take so long?
because it just does, man.
It's annoying.
I know it's not. Well, the thing is, there's still that episode where you grilled me about the Gosford Glyphs. That one's a good episode. That's still sitting in the back catalogue. That's part of that research project. There's a podcast of the night that we
What was that?
the studio was in plaster, man, and we had the boys on the projector.
Oh, right.
You interviewed us about the Gosford Glyphs.
Oh,
Yeah, we had the recliners in here. That's that version.
Right. I
Yeah.
remember that one now. You haven't released that one.
No, that's part of the research project. There's
Hold
also
back all my shit.
no. There's also there's also a podcast of the solstice night where we were at Gosford, right? I recorded while we were down there.
Yep.
But that's all part of that research. That
Yeah. Okay.
is that
Yep.
that's a package deal sort of a thing. There's a whole heap
Gotcha.
of stuff that's going to come out
Good
once
idea,
we can.
man. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
However, we're going to shift people's perspective on the Gosford glyphs in a way that hasn't been done before.
Oh.
That I'm not
But
joking.
can you name anyone else that's in on this?
Yeah, Benny Hall's in it.
Benny?
Yeah, Benny's in it.
Anyone?
The boys, the coders, yeah.
Coders?
Yeah.
Anyone,
Got some coders.
anyone like, significantly like big name? Like any scientists?
Well, look, Muhammad's aware of our research,
Muhammad's.
Right.
Yeah, right.
but I want
Muhammad
to,
again.
yeah, every now and again,
Yeah,
we have a couple of messages back and forth. He's still around.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, he's a good dude, man. He's an excellent guy. And look, he's starting to. The thing is, he was focused. His last book wasn't. His last book was to do with Egypt.
Yes.
His focus is turning back to Australia now.
Really?
So I want to tidy my end up and
Yep.
sort of go, hey,
Hey, brother.
we went and did a proper study on this
Mm-hmm.
because we did.
Yeah, remember that time you translated this? Remember when you did that?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. What if the age of the glyphs that you said matches
A time period
the time period that they can be found to be from?
using dating by looking at like the period with which the glyphs were from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and different plant matter and stuff that's involved in it.
Oh, well, don't give away the other stuff.
I don't.
Something. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. What?
Yeah, what?
What?
Nothing. Nothing is what. Anyway,
Yeah.
we can't. Okay, listen.
That's enough.
The thing, like, I mean, I posted a thing today of me at the helm, right? And oh, by the way, thank you, the helm. What a perfect name
helm.
for the table. At the helm in the sanctum. Of course it is.
Steering.
Right? And look, these chairs are very cool and they look excellent, but they're terribly uncomfortable.
They're not that bad.
Not that bad. Not that great either.
They're not like the seat in my truck.
Well, that's true too.
That's
but
terrible.
Yeah, but Bathurst chairs are on their way because well, of course they are.
Why wouldn't they be?
Why wouldn't they be? And
Triff loves a good bit of Bathurst.
exactly. I've been up here by myself with the projector watching Bathurst, totally happy, totally.
Mate, throw another Bathurst on the Barbie. That's what he says.
It's my only. That's I don't watch footy anymore, or any of that sort of stuff. My only sort of guilty sporting vice is motorsport. Yeah.
Don't get me started on footy, man. Fucking Broncos.
I've no idea. So
What are they doing?
not much. I have no idea.
When's the Queensland game coming up?
When's the Queensland?
I'm a Queenslander.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah,
I pay attention to rugby league once a year for a month. There must be soon, eh?
Casual. Yes, it's coming up soon.
But the Blues have got the crown, haven't they?
Yeah, they won last year.
You see, the thing is for me, right? So my state of origin experience,
Yes.
right, I rock up to Northern Territory at 15
Yes.
and they say, do you want to play rugby? I'd never seen a rugby ball when I was 15. I rock up there and I'm like, how do we play this game?
Yes.
And they're like, pass that way, right?
Yes.
And go and run this one. Well, that's a stupid idea, right? We're going that way. And he's like, no, you got to pass this way,
Yes.
right? And then they said, can you kick a football? And I grew up with a Sharon in my hand. So
Mate.
I just slotted one from 50,
No.
right?
Yeah, and they were like, Jesus.
And they were like, oh, you can do the 40-20s now, right? If we need to kick the ball, you're kicking it, right?
Yeah, fucking oath.
And that was it. That's all I knew. And then this state of origin came up. And just because I'm me, all the people that I knew went for Queensland. And I technically was born in New South Wales. So I went, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to go the Blues, right? But this was the
You're a
90s, man.
Southerner.
Yeah. But I was from Victoria,
Yeah.
right? But this was the 90s. And this is like Freddie Fittler and Andrew Johns when they were on their tear. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I made some cartons over those
Yeah,
years.
they
You know what I'm
did. The
saying?
Blues,
You know what I mean?
There was fucking pretty
Yeah.
back and forth in childhood through the 90s, if I remember correctly.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, if you remember through our teen years, like into our teen years, it was back and forth. It was
that was
pretty good.
really those 90s games were really where they cemented, continued, I guess, that underdog, because like Blues would usually win like two,
Yeah.
and then we'd win one back, and the time we won, we'd have like the worst team, and that
Come from
fucking
behind.
courage,
Yeah.
fucking overcome adversity. So it really built that, and that storyline
It still plays out today.
continued
Yeah.
for fucking ages
Yeah.
until Queensland did the 8 straight, and obviously the Blues started to get sick of losing, so then they started to make up lies
Yeah.
that we were grubs and that and that we we
But you know what? Do you know what?
stretching the rules
There you
and
go,
they
mate.
favourite we were
Here's something-
favourites.
Here's something you might not know, right?
Yes.
So back in a different world, far, far away, down in Victoria,
Yes.
and in the AFL, on the other scene,
Yes.
which was a lot harder back in the 90s. It is. I don't watch it anymore. Like I might watch the grand final. I just don't. I did anyway.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Put it like this: I grew up hip and shouldering brick walls. That was a drill in the under 12s.
Fucking hard, man.
In order to keep your elbows in. That's what the coach would say. Put your elbow out and bump the brick wall.
Yeah,
right.
gotcha.
Did that hurt? Right. Now bump the brick wall without your elbow 20 times and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And if you hit a dude like that every time, you won't hurt yourself and
You fucking
you'll smash them.
smash him.
Right.
Yes.
And that's how I grew up playing. But anyway,
Yeah.
we used to have a state of origin, right? So there was Victoria, South Australia, Western Australia, right? But what happened is because AFL was from Victoria, Victoria won it for like 13 years in a row.
Yeah.
And they just disbanded it because it's like when you've got, I mean, you'd know the players, Tony Lockett, Gary Ablett, you know what I mean? Jason Dunstall, like that was the forward line. You know what I mean? It's like you've got
Every big name that you can remember from the 90s.
Yeah. Any AFL name you remember from the 90s was in the Victorian team.
Yes.
And it was just like, yeah, you've got all-star players in every position and they like getting on the piss and having a fight and they're just going to win because they can. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Because they're selected from the genetics.
yeah. And see, I grew up as a kid wanting to wear the big V,
Yeah.
right? It was a dark blue jersey with a big white V on it.
Yes,
And that was
I remember the one.
That was state of origin. Yeah, yeah, and that's when I grew up doing it. But yeah, they disbanded it because Victoria just wiped the floor for 20 years or 15 years or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is when Queensland was going 8 straight. I'm like, oh, they got to win one soon because people are going to start to lose interest. You know what I mean? Like they've got to switch the fucking script up. The Matrix, beer and circuses, man. You know what I mean? Bread and circuses.
Bread and
Bread and
circus.
circus.
It's all going around in fucking a big circle anyway, mate.
Oh, isn't it all going around in a big circle?
Everything.
Aren't we
everything
stealing the
is,
Kali Yuga?
including the fucking football,
Including football. Well, is it not a distraction anyway? You know what I mean?
It is. Of course it is.
But it doesn't matter. We're still going to come up here in Origin and watch it on the
Still good to
projector.
watch.
Yeah.
You know, like everything in moderation, including
moderation. Exactly. One of my favorite early memes was this little cat in a bloody like a sombrero and like a poncho, and like with a shot of tequila. And it's like, who is this moderation I'm supposed to be drinking with? Right. I think I've still got that somewhere on a hard drive. That was like my first saved meme. You know, I was younger, and you know, when someone said tequila, things happened.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was a code word. When back in my day, that was the code word. We'd look around like my drinking crew. I'd look around and go, or someone would go, "Did someone say tequila? No, you didn't. Did you? Did you say tequila? Did anyone? I don't know. Did someone?
yeah."
And then there's shots on the bar, and then it's over, bro.
And that was the thing. I remember in one tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila floor. I remember, I'm pretty sure that was like a shirt.
Yeah, it was a thing, man. It was a thing. Yeah, because that's what it was. Because you didn't have tequila till later in the night. You have 4 shots of tequila, and whatever happens, bro. You know what I mean?
I remember in the 2000s after that song came out, we didn't do that anymore. It evolved into like someone would just look at you and you just start going shots.
That's right.
And it's like the next bloke would be like, everybody shots, and we just have shots.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, where
was like that
I was, the pub that I went to, which doesn't exist in its form. I was in the Vic at Darwin, right? This is the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yep.
It was the place to be for the best part of 50 years, and now it's shit. However, back in the day, upstairs was like techno, electronic music,
Yep.
and downstairs they'd always have a band Thursday, Friday, Saturday night,
Nice.
right? So it's like, yeah, you said you head up to the techno, but you might be on certain things that need to get out of your system, and then you wander downstairs and sing along with
You
the.
dance like the oldest white guy just then.
I did do. I did. Hey man,
I don't know this basic
hang on a
drum
minute.
song.
Hey, I was trying to remember the other day. I was talking to Kath about it. It was the Macarena, right? We're old enough to do the Nutbush.
Yes.
There was another one. What was the other one?
Nutbush,
The Macarena, the
Macarena.
Nutbush. What was the other one we used to do? And people in the pub would just stop and do it. You know what I'm saying? What was it? It was the Macarena. I could do the Macarena, bro. Not anymore. My back is way too fragile to do anything like that. However,
I could still bust.
you reckon?
Look
You
at
reckon?
these
Yeah.
hips. Look at these hips. Look how fucking flexible.
We should
Yeah.
play. You know, I could probably bust it out, man. We've had a couple of drinks.
Okay, think about. No, fuck off. I'm not doing shit.
Do it. You're on camera. Do the Macarena.
Fuck off. Off you can fuck. No.
I love that reel. It's like you can fuck off, and then the next dude comes. No, you haven't reached far enough. You can keep going down the road. Keep fucking off down there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just off you can fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Would have been funny to see you do the Macarena though. Like talking about selling yourself for reels. If you did the Macarena, we'd get thousands of likes.
I'll do it in your fucking undies.
Yeah, and the fur vest.
Yeah. Oh, and the fur vest. Yeah.
That's it. Undies and
fur vest.
I want, and do you know what I want? Do you know what I want?
know.
I want the blue undies from Shroom Code. That's what I want. I want those dirty blue undies that have been there since 1997.
You're not lucky enough. Just got the maxes on tonight.
Mate, that was like 3 years ago. If those undies are still alive, are those undies still alive?
Probably.
Yeah.
You know what blokes are like, mate.
The shadow that mic is casting on your chest is very suggestive. Like, are you hiding something under your shirt there, mate? Or are you just happy to see me?
Well, the thing is, mate, you got to tuck it up in your waistband.
That's right.
And
once it goes past there,
hey, some of us are fucking genetically privileged, Fuck yeah. Hey.
Look, and this is, do you know what?
That's why my voice is so low. It's resting on my voice box.
Yeah, that's right. What is it? Yeah, I take a light bit of Viagra. It's not really for the, it's more for stability. You know what I mean? That thing gets swinging. I don't want to fucking blow my knee out. You know what I'm saying? So just take a little bit, just a snitch for stability. You know what I mean?
Just to stiffen things up slightly. Would you like a cigarette tartar, my friend?
Of course, mate. It's happy birthday.
Have a happy birthday.
Yeah, hang on. So let's
hold up. What
was the mercury for? In the pyramids. What do you think it was for?
It's for fucking drawing
etheric energy.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course it is.
That's
yeah.
What else is mercury for?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, like
extracting gold.
Yeah,
get fucked.
Could be. It does. It actually is a little bit.
It is.
Yeah,
because it's one of those things. Gold dissolves into it. So as you add it, it dissolves it in.
Oh,
and then you can precipitate it.
Just keep talking to the good people for a second, mate.
I'm just explaining chemically how.
Yeah, go for it.
How precipitation works.
Explain chemically.
So you add gold to mercury, and then they join together into an amalgam, and then you can then add another chemical to get it out of the mercury to make it precipitate, and they use different chemical flotation methods. That's how you separate gold from gold ore.
Oh, hang on a minute.
What are you doing? Why did you take? What are you taking so long?
Is a liquid mercury natural? Okay.
Yeah.
I just employed Jamie or the Watcher for a second.
Oh yeah.
Because the Serpent Bros don't have the Watcher anymore, so we're going to totally steal it because they started after us.
Yeah, and we just call it "Want to Be the Watcher," and now it's different because it's not the Watcher.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes, liquid mercury is a naturally occurring substance.
Yes.
It is the only metal that is a liquid at room temperature. Mercury is found in rocks, ores, and even in some fossil fuels. Fossil fuels is a bullshit statement. We can go into that. It is not dead dinosaurs. Oil is a naturally occurring resource in the planet. I can tell you that for a fact as well. It is also released into the environment naturally through volcanic activity and weathering of rocks. So cool. All right. So they can find naturally occurring liquid mercury, but they have it at giant pools of it at the bottom of some of those massive pyramids in South America. You've still got to carry it. You still, logistically, it didn't just rock up. You know what I mean? Like,
Get it? Rock up.
yeah, it just didn't rock up.
Yeah. You telling jokes tonight.
I am, mate. I am.
Yeah, no.
The problem, do you know what
100% right.
the only problem I don't like about this new board is you heard that, but I don't think anyone else did, right? It doesn't come through to Zoom for some reason. Yeah.
Fucker.
I've got to figure that out.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, there's got to be.
It'd be great if you could
Yeah,
just.
because, they've got an audience. Like, stop it. So you can't hear it, but you're being recorded. There's 100,000 people in this room. Yeah. Oh, sorry. So I've got to figure that out.
So only I get tortured.
Yeah. It was pretty loud. I turned it right up.
It's all right, mate. I signed up for it.
But you think liquid? I think that it was.
No,
I think it was harnessing the energy. It's harnessing the etheric energy for sure.
Yeah,
like,
when
I don't
you say
think,
naturally occurring, but
you don't just.
does it naturally occur in deposits that large to be large enough to be called a pool? So yeah, no, look,
Yeah, a pool is like
I'm happy.
the size of this room. You know what I mean? Like this is
Yeah.
a pool is a large. Jamie's gone
my
again. I
mind.
can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
Oh,
it.
your swimming pool, mate. I don't
Dude.
know.
Sophomaniacs, just allow the sophomaniacs to fucking talk, mate.
Yeah, let him cook, man. We're just ruminating.
Talk.
We're just ruminating. But I think
Get goated.
here's something that is on UTC 3 agenda that I just pulled out of the ether.
Yeah.
Pardon the pun. However, Tartaria. What are your thoughts on Tartaria?
That's kind of where the steel balls.
The steel balls, mercury, harnessing
mercury,
etheric energy. Yeah.
Up on the antennas, harnessing the energy, bleeding it.
Well, did you watch the reels
Powering,
you watch the reels I sent you? I sent you a couple of long ones. But
yes, I have watched a few of them. Yes,
because there was some of that stuff about that.
And then you penetrated my algorithm, and then I've watched a few different ones. Look, Tartaria.
There's nothing to it. There's something a bit.
No, look.
What if 1% is true, bro?
No, and that's what I was going to say. I'm happy to entertain the whole storyline because I've watched it develop like over the time. The story's got better. You know how fan fiction builds. It's like Flat Earth, it's building. There's more people creating content about it. It's getting larger. There's more information. They're filling gaps in stories. I don't know if there's real research, but to back some of the points, how we talk about there being the further back in time you go, there's larger gaps between.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. And we know that it happens where we just assume and fill in the dots based off the mean average of things.
So just for context, I'm just showing Mr. McDermott the phone. This is a fellow coders. He's got one of those 1950s bar things that looks like a globe.
Yep.
That says Tartaria, bro, on the map.
It does.
Right.
And where is it for all of you?
Russia.
It's Russia, basically.
Yeah, it's basically Russia, but it seems to be, if you think about the architecture, it's global. I mean, there's questions to be asked, man. Like there is pictures. I saw one from Australia today. I don't know if I sent it to you, but it's like in the 1800s, there's these massive buildings and the total population, registered population of Australia, which they would have had pretty control of it because it was the redcoats, right, was 60,000 people. And there's these beautiful churches and massive stone structures that exist here in the early 1800s that it doesn't make any sense. Who built it and how long did it take? You know what I mean? Show me the plan, show me the commission. You know what I mean? Like what horse and cart built some of that stuff? I just don't, I've never bought it. I mean, the grand cathedrals in Europe is a totally different thing. However, there's echoes, man, down under.
Have you heard the explanation or one of the explanations, but I don't know, I'm guessing it's like the mainstream Tartarian theory as to the cause of the mud flood?
I heard tell that the most compelling theory that I heard was that we spun through a dust cloud in the in the
I was wondering if you were still there. There's a new theory.
there's a new theory. Okay.
The new theory is that it was actually with the it's hard to explain. With the electronic like grid that they had
The free
set
energy
up, the
grid,
free
yeah.
energy grid
Right.
sort of thing, it was also like a DARPA weapon sort of thing. You could like reverse the polarity
No,
or
they
whatever.
shifted the frequency. Yeah.
And like this, so there's this storyline where it's like the certain okay, let's tie it in. I don't remember if this was it or not, but let's tie it in with these names because they're names we know. Rothschild's type,
Yes.
that kind of type of
Look,
elite,
yeah,
right? Hang on, hang on.
the
That
elite
type,
nine or whatever it is.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that those kind of elite banking families, right?
Bilderberg group as well,
That
whatever you
kind
want to
of
say.
thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Large corporations now, all that sort of jazz. So imagine those types. Well, the story goes, and I've only seen this on one video, so that's why it might just be a smaller niche.
Well, it shines a lot
story.
on World War One and Two as well.
And the idea was that they turned like
Oh,
they
they
got
shifted the frequency,
power, wanted to destroy it all, sort of thing.
but they did steal the bells. The bells was part of it, man.
Well, weren't the bells like part of with the resonance
It's,
of
yeah,
the
it's
bells?
resonance,
It, like,
vibration, frequency.
gave
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
isn't that some but isn't the frequencies of the bells were meant to like bring people together
Yeah,
and
it's healing and
lift their
yeah,
vibration
exactly.
exactly
Yeah.
and the churches were like healing. This
Yeah.
is all the Tartarian law kind of thing. Yeah, so I've been observing all of the law and stuff like that, and it's look like a good storyline is it's fun to follow along.
Yeah, it is fun.
I'm not bought in, but I don't buy into any
No, we're not.
tribes.
Well, we don't.
ever.
We've never done that. That's
No.
why I'm asking your thoughts on it.
Yeah,
Right? It's
so-
just an.
My thoughts are it's fun to watch it grow.
But do you think there's anything to it? Because I mean, if you over the last 8 years, if you think one of the field trips we never got to go on because again we're husbands and fathers, is we wanted to go into Brisbane because apparently in Brisbane there's multiple buildings that have multiple stories beneath the road,
Yeah.
right? Which is theoretically part of that story,
Yeah.
right? But we never did that. When we're going to go and see the cathedrals, we're going to try and make a day of it.
Yes.
That was a long time ago.
Yes.
We should let's put that back on the agenda and let's put that back out into the ether and see what comes back as far as opportunity concerns. Because that'd be cool. Run around the city for a day, checking the cathedrals out and seeing if we can't acquire our way into underground buildings. That'd be fun. Anyway, there's evidence of it all over the globe, right? But there's no echo, right? So I've talked to me and Loomis have flirted with Tartaria as well because the thing about Tartaria is it leads to flat Earth, and I just we spent a well, some people know, and I would have said it before, and I apologize if you've heard it before. However, me and you were on the telescope until I bought enough bits for the telescope that we couldn't magnify it anymore, right? We spent nights and nights and nights on that telescope observing the stars, right? Everything else is round, okay? Doesn't matter what you pointed at, everything else is round.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that because we've seen it, okay?
Yeah.
And the problem is Tartaria crisscrosses with flat Earth, right? And this is the one of the main issues with it. However, me and Loomis have flirted with it, and he said that he has in his family lineage he has records from the 1700s, right?
Yep.
Because his family goes back into when they came into America and they kept good journals and stuff, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And there's no mention of the flood. There's no echo. There's no genetic echo
Yeah. Okay.
that he is aware of
Okay.
from his family. I mean, that's only his family line.
Yeah.
But you'd think if it was a global mud flood, there would be more evidence. But see, I've heard Randall, more Randall than you can handle on Cosmographia and Squaring the Circle. I can only take so much around. I love him, and I really would love to have him on the show. Let's put that out there to the ether too. Randall, come on, man. Me and you have an awesome chat. However, he was talking about the mud flood, and apparently in like nature magazines back in if you go into the archives of the libraries and stuff, if you go into the nature magazines of the late 1700s, early 1800s, they do talk of a rain, right? It's basically mud just fell from the sky for 2 months
Okay.
in America. It doesn't talk about global, but in some places in America, there is records of mud floods. That was early, I believe that was early Cosmographia back in the early days of his podcast, Cosmographia. He was talking about that stuff because he was talking about weird things falling from the sky, like rocks, and like periodically weird ass things rain down.
Yes. Wasn't that a Marty as well? Didn't Marty
Marty
do?
Garza was talking about that. Here's a theory for you.
Yeah.
Marty Garza has befallen a few incidents, man. He's currently injured again.
Really?
Did
Because
he
he injured
fly?
his
Yeah,
thumb.
he was in a car accident, man.
Yes, that's right. They
Did,
tried to
did
kill him.
I was going to say, did Marty Garza fly too close to the sun, man?
Dude.
Like, did they decide that he was about to? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, he was. They heard his story, and he was getting too close to the truth. But the thing is, I don't understand why they would focus on Marty, because maybe it's because of those episodes he did.
with the Serpent Brothers, but that means they're under the microscope as well. You know what I mean? It's just
No, but what I was going to say was the episodes. Yes, all the ones he did with the Surfing Brothers, but the ones he did where he like named like lineages, all the connections between
yeah, he was naming names.
high
Yeah.
ranking CIA
Yeah,
people.
he was naming names.
Yeah, and it wasn't so much that he named them. People knew that they were directors and shit like that. But he named linkages all the way back through.
The problem is he said that all this stuff is accessible for everyone to find, but no one has put in the time for him to join the actual dots. You know what I mean? You know,
100%.
but he's okay. Here's let's take another left turn, right? Because what if this is the fucking Matrix, man? What if it is a flat Earth with an ice wall and it's a controlled ant farm harvesting souls, man?
Well,
And it's all about energy and etheric harvesting. You know what I mean? Like they're harvesting our energy and our souls.
yeah.
What if that's actually what is really going on?
Well, that's the whole
That's in some of the
reason.
darker corners of conspiracy law, but you know what I mean? Like,
But what I'm saying is, that's the whole reason that flat Earth exists. Like that's my idea of the true meaning of why that movement started.
well, didn't it start as a joke on 4chan or 3chan or Red Chan or whatever the hell it was to start with?
I believe it did. But what the reason it resonates with people, because I think what it does is it points out the lack of faith in establishment, and it points
Yeah,
out
science, religion, and establishment. There's no concentrated faith. Yeah,
it points out the reason why we don't have faith in them, because
they've lied.
well, no, but the fundamental reason why we don't have faith in those institutions, it's because we take it at face value.
Yeah.
So they created this whole other.
We did take it at face value.
Yeah.
I don't think we do anymore.
No, exactly. And because part of Flat Earth has pointed out that how much information we take at face value.
Yes.
It's third-hand information.
Yeah.
We don't look into things. We don't like the fact that
my two
they're
favorites
pointing out the fact that we think the Earth is round because we've been told it is.
Yes.
That's what they're
But
pointing out.
there's actually three, right? Three of my favorite flat earth people.
Yes.
Number one, old mate literally designed and built a rocket that he strapped himself to prove the earth was flat.
Yeah.
And he went up and he came back down. Surprisingly, like I thought for sure he was going to explode. However, he didn't. Kudos to him. And he said it was round. Number one, right?
Yeah.
There's another dude, and it was like a reel on that was going around for ages. And it's like, put this board here and put this board there, and we're going to be able to see straight through it because the earth is flat. And they're like, shine your light through. You shine your light. Shine your light through. What's going on? Right? Of course, it didn't shine light through because the earth is fucking round, right? And then there was another dude, the king of the flat earthers. I don't remember his name and I don't want to give him any airtime. However, some dude, right, paid for him to go to Antarctica. Some philanthropist said, you know what, I'm tired of your shit. Come to Antarctica with me. And he observed the 24-hour sun.
Yeah.
Right, he observed the sun moving around the entire thing, which can only happen if the earth is round, right? And yeah, that's my three favorite. But the thing is, right, what I thought about, because I was like, you know what? Because they ask questions that are very tantalizing. You know what I mean? That you can see why people have fallen down the rabbit hole. It's like, I think Okay, so if you think about Australia, well, in some flat Earth law, Australia doesn't exist, mate. We're NASA shills. Did you know that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which we are for sure.
We're all actors.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
No. Yeah.
yeah. If we were acting, I hope we'd be fucking paid more if that's. It's like for the international listeners, it's tough down under.
I'd like,
Okay.
I could have looked more like Hemsworth for fuck's sake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we could choose a better avatar if that's what we're
Yeah.
doing. Anyway, um, we're upside down, right? Well,
Yeah.
okay,
And don't exist.
and don't
Anyway.
exist. Anyway, I think that if we actually really knew that we were upside down, that would be too discombobulating to our systems. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think our eye, and it comes to ocular. So if you think about our eyes, right, and the lenses that exist within our eyes, they are round, they're almost fisheye lenses.
Yeah.
I think that not only are we attached, we don't understand gravity at all. That's not as might be a discussion for tonight, but not right now. However, gravity is a different thing, but our eyes trick us that it is flat, right? Because if we knew how round it actually was, and if we knew exactly where we were on the planet at any one time, that we're standing, if you're in Papua New Guinea, you're standing horizontal to the planet. You know what I mean? Like if we actually knew that,
Oh.
that would really freak us the fuck out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So we've been built, and I'd use those words carefully. We've been built to deal with being on the planet, and our eyes actually make things look flat, because if we saw how round everything was, we'd have to admit in our own minds that we're upside down and don't exist, right? And I think
Yeah,
that's
but that excludes gravity because
we don't understand gravity,
no,
man.
but you don't need to understand it to know that. Like, are we ignoring the like? There's no upside down is relative to your position.
Well, there is no up in space. Remember that mind blow when we're looking at the stars,
That's what I
man?
mean.
Yeah.
Because the way
But we know that as stellar beings existing within the cosmos, we know that. And in order to exist on the planet, we ignore that.
yeah, but I don't think the curvature is great enough because of I don't know if we can understand in our brain and transfer that to your optical fucking area.
Optical area. There you go. There's a softer, mate. Let's put that in the dictionary.
Wow. I don't think we'd be able to perceive it anyway, like as in the curvature.
Yeah,
because the
okay.
radius is just too large.
So there's one time on land that I've perceived it, right? It was
Yeah.
very early in the morning. I took a photo of it at Madura Pass. The photo doesn't do it any justice whatsoever. It was the best camera at the time, DSLR, but it doesn't do it any. Is there any? We're gonna have, what do we have one more, mate? Might be enough.
Keep going.
I stopped at Madura Pass just after sunrise, and that's on the other end of the what's the bloody strait called across the WA?
Nullarbor.
The Nullarbor, across the Nullarbor Plains. Quick story about the Nullarbor Plains. So at that time I had a VY Series 2 supercharged V6
Yes.
that was cold air boxed and chipped, right? And actually I had the shortest snout, and I took the restrictor plate off the supercharger, right? So she was breathing, right?
Oh yeah.
I did 100. I averaged 135. And what was weird, right? 135 was the perfect cruise control speed.
Yes.
It wasn't 140, it wasn't 130, it was 135, right? I figured that out driving across to Western Australia. My boys back here said, well, listen, you're going across the Nullarbor, you got to wind it off the clock. Like, you have to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's the
like,
thing.
you have to, right?
Have you been off the clock?
Yeah.
That's what we used to say to each other.
So the day that I was going across the Nullarbor, there was a crosswind, about a 50K crosswind across the nose of the car.
Yep.
But boys would be boys, mate. I was driving a Commodore, and I'm on the Nullarbor. Today's the day. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Look, since I've owned my fucking motorcycle, have I done 230 kilometers an hour? No, not at all.
Not at all. Never
Never
ever.
once. I'm fucking
No
well,
way.
there's no road that has that speed limit.
That's
so
right, exactly.
of course I haven't done
There's no one, only in the Northern Territory is unlimited speed limits. But
That's
anyway,
right.
So theoretically,
Yes.
this day on the Nullarbor, I had because it was the S pack, it had, I think it was 260, 240 or 260 on the clock. What do you mean 240, right? 250 maybe. Trying to remember. Doesn't matter.
I remember 240.
Yeah, 240 could be the one.
On a lot of those commos.
Yeah. And I had it at I got it to 230, And because of the crosswind across the nose, dude, she started getting floaty.
Giddy up.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Giddy up.
things,
Hell
things
yeah.
were happening. Whatever spoiler or body kit it had on it, it was having no effect at 230 kilometers. And look, the
Life
Nullarbor,
begins at 200, mate.
the Nullarbor might be straight, but it is not smooth at all. It is bumpy and it goes like this. It does these wobbles, you know what I mean? And I'm like, the nose started to get real light. I'm like, 230. I think I might have seen 235. I didn't get it off the clock because it was just, mate, it was sketchy. I was wandering across the whole road dude, at 200, and I'm like,
Look,
if I have to
you never
jump
really
on the
drove that
brakes,
car.
oh,
It's okay.
come
You
on.
never really drove that
Come on,
car.
that's
all
not
right.
fair.
Hey.
Hey, no, I had it off the
Nah,
clock on the
I'm
way
joking.
back from
I'm
Lawless.
fucking joking.
On the way back from Lawless, actually, on the way back from Lawless on my birthday, I definitely had it off the clock,
Yeah.
and the copper caught me doing. You get the spidey sense, bro.
Yeah.
This one day, because I'm like, it's my birthday. I finished work. I'm going to see how fast I can take this car from Lawless to Kalgoorlie in Western Australia. It should have been 4 hours. Okay.
Nice.
Now,
What'd you do it in? What'd you do it in? You want to tell. What'd you do it in? 4 hours, okay. 4 hours at law-abiding citizen speed.
4 hours at
What'd
the
you do
speed
it
limit.
in? What'd you do it in?
3 hours and 4 minutes was my best.
That's a fucking good time. that's a good time. I haven't driven that road, so can't tribute to
It's
conditions.
outback
but that's-
WA,
that's
bro.
fucking good
Part of
time.
it was dirt. Okay, so
Yeah,
we were
nice.
up it. Okay,
It's fucking beautiful.
but yeah, on my birthday, I got clocked. Look, I was doing 220.
Was that
Okay.
auto, that car?
Yes.
Ooh.
4-speed auto with overdrive, just the L76 or whatever it was. But because
Lick it into overdrive.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it pulled, man. As I say, snout, chip, all that stuff, right?
Supercharger.
Yeah. And look, the thing about those supercharged V6 commies, the XR6 turbo came out and just blew everything away. Everything, just everything. Nothing could touch the XR. But those supercharged commies were nice to drive. They had good power. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But they were never going to be a 240 kilowatt turbo monster. It was never going to happen.
That Barra engine, man.
Yeah, it just changed the game, bro. No one understands what that Barra engine did.
No, and they just look. They wanted to be the fucking.
Yeah, it was for Holden versus Ford, man. It's like, you know what, we can stap a turbo onto this.
Well, not only that, but the funny thing was there was a dude that told me once, like 10 years before the fucking Barra came out, they got. It was probably not 10 years before it came out, but 10 years before they got fucking popular.
Yeah,
before everyone realized what they were.
Chuck one of those in the trial.
He was saying, yeah, well, that was one of the reasons. But he was saying years and years ago, he's like, nah, the V8 and the Ford is not where the money is going. There's the amount of money that's been spent on the six.
Yeah,
you wait and see, and then this like 2JZ 4-liter version came out, but like better than the RB, the 2J. Like basically, Ford kind of knew they were going out.
Yeah.
Right. They had a 20-year life expectancy. Yeah. This is the last hurrah, boys.
Yeah.
Let's go down.
What can we actually do? Yeah.
Let's go down.
What can we do? Everyone
Let's put forged internals.
When you say Barra turbo, everyone goes, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember like back in the day.
Craziest Australian motor ever built.
Was it I think they call it the Typhoon, the FG Typhoon, I think it was.
F6.
X6, that's the one. F6 Typhoon.
Yeah, man.
I was working at Terex at the time. Now, this crazy dude that I probably wouldn't have got in a car with on any normal day, but he had an F6 Typhoon and he offered me a ride. Yep. Now, I am pretty experienced in a passenger seat and driving motor vehicles, okay? I don't scare easily. Yep. That Typhoon scared the crap out of me, and that was out of FPV, not stock as a rock, but it still had 310 kilowatts in a 6-speed manual that just pulled like God was chasing it. You know what I mean? Like I'd never been in a car up until that point. Like that's that 05, 06 or whatever it is. That, man. Anyway, dude.
The fastest car I've ever been in was a fucking, I think it was a BA Falcon.
Yeah.
XR6 turbo. This thing had a 2-speed power glide. I think it ran 1,200 horsepower. Like it was on E85.
Jesus.
Dude, my asshole never puckered so hard. I didn't know how this cunt could drive either.
Yeah, you're not aware of anyone's capabilities.
Exactly. So this cunt's fucking spooled her up, come out of a T intersection, spooled her up, down this straight section of road, plenty of cars on the other side, so only one lane.
Only one
could
lane. We're not-
really fucking do anything.
Yeah.
And this cunt's fucking picked the gap, the only gap, and just punched it, like had it coming up onto boost. And then he's just fucking picked this gap, punched it fucking sideways across the road into the other lane, back into our fucking lane, grabs second
And just
no,
Yeah.
no. And it's just like you can still hear there's no traction, but the acceleration is more than I've ever fucking felt in my life. I'm just
it
like,
just throws you back, and you can't.
but you can
can't
still hear
move.
the wheels spinning
Yeah.
behind you. And
Yeah.
I was just like,
Wheel spinning second gear at 200 k's an hour. Yeah.
that was the fastest I've ever accelerated in a vehicle before.
Do you know the fastest I ever went in a car for a long time was an EA Falcon? You know, back in the day, when we used to make stuff in Australia. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember when we were kids and we used to make stuff here?
Yeah.
A crazy idea.
Proud nation.
Yeah, proud nation that made excellent products that were exported all over the world. What a crazy idea. Anyway, there used to be Friday cars, right? So you buy a Falcon, you buy a Camry, you buy a Commodore. If it was made on a Wednesday or a Monday, if you got a Monday car, it's a piece of shit.
Yep.
Because no one pays attention on a Monday.
Yep.
Tuesday car, meh. Wednesday car's probably pretty good, but a Friday car, right? Last car of the week,
Yep.
you put a little bit more extra effort into the
Well,
last car of the week.
You know, depending on where you're at and depending on what year we're talking about, you could speed up and slow down like your production lines.
Yes, that's right.
On Friday, you took a little more time.
Exactly. You're only going to get X amount of cars done on a
You're not
Friday.
doing, hey, it's fucking Friday.
It's Friday.
I'm not doing fucking 10 cars today. cunt.
Exactly.
I'm doing 6.
They're doing 6 and they're going to be right. Right. So you get a Friday Falcon. This was an EA Friday car.
My
right?
mate had a Friday VL.
Yeah.
Just a naturally aspirated VL.
Just a
and
beautiful
this thing
car.
Fucking haul.
Just a beautiful, nice and comfortable.
It had 30 more
Whatever.
horsepower than any other fucking VL on that
Oh,
line.
absolutely. This EA was running 12 slotters, mate. Like it had old school fatty fucking mags on it, man. Right? It looked a bit weird, but it was cool looking. You know what I mean? It was white,
Fucking
right?
nice.
White EA with 12 slotters on it, big fat tires on it.
Yeah, nice.
And I remember, and we were at Nullarbor and heading out to where the speed limit stopped.
Yeah.
And look, I may or may not have been under the influence of multiple things, but I had my feet up on the dash, this EA. I look over to the Speedo and we are off the clock, dude. We're off the clock.
He was driving that car.
Driving that car.
he's doing, mate.
And I was like, we're comfortable as. Like I had my feet up on the dash, man. I had
Just
no
cruising.
idea that we were doing 250,
They were
40
big
plus.
fucking boats. They
Yeah.
were pretty solid, those.
Yeah, it went up in the speed. But that was the fastest I've been in a car until I went on a V8 supercar ride with Greg Murphy. That was pretty cool. But probably the fastest accelerating car was a HZ Premier,
Yeah.
and it had a 454 supercharged, like just drag car basically. And I was helping pit crew because up in Darwin at the time I used to just volunteer. Do you need a hand? I'll give you a hand because I was in spare parts. It's like, oh, you got time? Who you working for this weekend? I'd go and give people a hand, right? And he was running this car in because there's all these old airstrips up at north, right? And there was like, there's all these 3K airstrips in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, I met him out there and this thing was so angry, man. And like, same thing, just like supercharged 454, just 10-second car. You know what I mean? Like a 10-second car is something that is totally different to anything else.
Yeah. It's
You know what I mean?
You don't get you pay a lot of money for a 10-second car. It's, you know, you a lot of your sporty cars are on the road in our price range.
But they're not 10-second
not
cars.
10-second cars.
You can get to 11. You know what I mean? You get to 11.
Maybe.
If you get to 11,
But if you
and you
break
want to
through
get to
10,
11 to 10, there's $100,000.
That's a lot of car.
That's a lot of
You
car.
can buy cars that do that, but to make a car do that, it takes
Especially a Premier, like a
fucking oath. I went in a 800 horsepower Unos Cosmo, triple rotor.
damn.
It got changed from a twin turbo. I'll tell you what though, in stock form, it was faster than my mate's 500 horsepower Skyline.
Yeah.
And that was
Those rotaries, man.
stock. It was like you were saying about that the Falcon. It was fucking so smooth.
Yeah.
Like we timed it over, timed it between. We had a set of road signs. We
Yeah, of course you did.
tested on.
Yeah, of course.
We timed both cars
400
between
meters.
the two, and the Skyline from a standing start. Fucking, it was 5-speed manual. R33 GDST, so 2.5 litre.
Yeah.
But it had some good fucking go to it.
Oh, they weren't slow
And
cars at all.
it was squirming and shimmying and fucking trying to just get traction in the arse end as it shot away. It felt fast. But when you looked at the time,
The rotary is faster.
the rotary was faster, and the rotary just felt like, do
Yeah.
do do do, cue elevator music.
Yeah.
It was so pedestrian.
I
but
drove
it covered the distance
covered the
quicker,
distance.
and we were both blown away. We are like, what the
I
fuck?
drove a Series 3 RX-7, the old wedge type ones. It was a white one, red one. I drove a couple. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Series 3.
Series
I
3.
remember.
Like they're still in the old shape,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But it had the 13B in it. It had the turbo 13B. And it revved to 11,000, right?
Yeah, man.
And I've been driving my Tirana,
Yep.
which I'm hard at. 6.5 is all she's got, mate, in the 186 right to 192. You know what I mean? 6.5. If you're going to go to 7, then we're playing a game that we only play a few times a week. You know what I'm saying? However, well, that's true, man. 6.5 was where it was at.
Straight up.
But I went to 6.5 and I changed gear. And the dude owned the car, he looks at me and says, "What the fuck are you doing?" He goes, "Take it to 9."
What?
I'm like, "What?
No
9?"
way.
He goes, "Yeah, it'll
Right.
go to 10." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "You just change it. You change it 9." I'm like, "Okay, let's change it 9." Whoa, just that weird rotary sound, you know what I mean? And just bang. And you're right, they cover, because the rev range is so high, I think they cover distance, you know what I mean? I think that's why they were so quicker on the short tracks. Like Alan Moffat used to run those RX-7s back in the day, you know what I mean? Like they won the 12-hour and the 6-hour back in the day as well, because they're just...
They'd run out of legs on the very long straights.
Yes.
The V8s would take them, but they were very light and very nimble.
Yeah,
if you
across
had
the top.
tight track, it would they would compete. Man. Well, my dream motor, I don't care. I don't have a connection to the fucking cars, but my dream motor is 13B turbo
Chew a lot of oil, though.
in something. I don't give a fuck. It's the oratory fucking pleasure that a rotary at peak revs brings to my fucking loins.
Do you want me to tell you?
That's my engine. That's why I got the bike hitting revs above fucking 8,000
Yeah,
RPM.
there's something else about it. Yeah,
My nipples stiffen, my balls firm up and swell. Like it's just
everything's going on.
It's a beautiful fucking
Yeah, I get it.
And
you know that,
bang for buck.
Oh yeah.
I can't buy a fucking sports car that'll go as fast as that fucking bike and just give you a chubby. It's fantastic. I love it.
Do you want to? It's only you and me, right? No one's listening.
No.
So
between you, me, and the chat room.
Yeah, you mean the fence post and everyone else around the world. But so those early model wedge type RX-7s, if they've got a standard door lock, you may or may not. I can neither confirm nor deny such things. That if you basically get your hand width under the door lock, and then you whack that spot with your fist, closed fist, backhand is probably the better way to do it, at a fairly accelerated pace.
Decent, yep.
The lock might pop. I'm not saying that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I remember.
It could happen.
So not a cheeky fucking whack like that, but I did love the 70s Holden ignition and door locks. Because the keys would just fucking round off that little bit, and mate, you had one key. It was like a cat key. You could start all the Holdens,
dude. I could start my. This is not a bullshit. I could start
yours without the key.
I'd start my Tirana with a fucking McDonald's spoon just for a joke.
You remember? Did you what?
I had a kill switch hidden in the carpet.
I was going to say, did yours on the Holden ignition?
I did. Yeah, it didn't have the click. It didn't have the click. No,
didn't have the two wings on it because like the Kingswoods and shit.
Yeah, you just you just go in there and go, and it just starts.
My brother had an EH, and you just turn that. You didn't even need the key.
No, you didn't even need the key.
The barrel.
Once that barrel locked out, it didn't matter.
Yeah, it's fucked.
But you could start mine with a McDonald's key.
What's a McDonald's key?
Sorry, McDonald's spoon. Remember that when McDonald's had plastic spoons back in the day?
Yeah. You could.
I do it just for a joke. Here, I don't have my keys. You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I don't have my keys. Hey, you got a McDonald's spoon here? But then what I do is I go, you can start it. Just take the McDonald's spoon. It's easy, man. I'd flick the kill switch, which was hidden under the carpet. That no one knew where it was. It's like, because what's the point of having this kill switch if I told someone where it was?
Bikies knew where it was, but didn't they?
Yeah, but They found it. Yes, they did. That's a bit harsh, man. That hurts, bro.
It's the 8th birthday.
That's
The
hurts,
8th birthday. We
man.
got to fucking bring up
That hurts,
the funny
man. The
details.
bike he stole my. They did. Have I ever told that story? I must.
You have to me.
I have to you, but I haven't done on the podcast. I don't know if I have done on the podcast.
Keep it short and sweet, mate. Keep the dragons in the story.
Keep the dragons.
Hit out the key points.
Well, no. Well, I mean,
Mikey stole your fucking
I
Tirana.
almost stole my bike. Long story short, I had an LJ Tirana 4-door that I was doing up, and the bike he stole it, and I found it 3 years later. Yeah, that's the long
mate.
story short.
Fucking
And I'm not bitter about it at all. The photo album that I had, because we had photo albums back
single
then.
barrel Del Autos, fucking side draft Webbers.
No. Ran a Redline Talker 2 manifold with a $500 pumper, which a brand new one was sitting in the trunk, man. It was a 186 out to 192
pumper.
XU1 cam, stage 3 head.
Who's running single pumpers? That's what I'm wondering.
Who is, mate? But it takes a bit of
Who's
fucking
running
bit
single
of
pumpers?
yeah.
Mate, how many barrels? 4 barrels?
500 barrels, mate. I run
6 barrels?
6 barrels, 10 barrels. Do you know what I did run? Here's something.
Have you got a lumpy cam?
Yeah, lumpy. Yes, lumpy.
Is it lumpy?
It was an XU1. It was an XU1. It was XU1 cam, actually, mate. Thank you very much.
Of course it was, mate. XU1.
It was, man.
Yeah, it's like AMG.
Yes.
Fucking everyone's got one.
Everyone's going.
Is that
Doesn't matter now.
is
The
that
bike is stolen. You don't.
Is that an
shit.
M Series Beamer?
No, I missed that car.
Oh, I bet you do.
I do, man. It was so close to being
you
finished.
fucking bogan.
It was so close to being finished, man. Anyway.
You know what? We should, out of respect for that Tirana, we should buy 308, and it's going to cost us a lot of money because they're a popular engine.
Oh, we can't get them now.
Yeah, well, you can. You just got to pay a lot of money.
Exactly. Yeah. Where's your fun tickets? Well, mate, listen, man. Look, I need to pee, and we need to pause to pee, and we come back, or we just end it. Do you want to just end it, bro? I think we're okay.
How about we sign? Yeah, let's sign off.
Let's sign off. I don't even know where we went. I'm not sure what we spoke about, but it's been fucking cool, man.
I don't really give a fuck.
It doesn't matter, mate. Thank you very
Just
much.
hanging out, recording the conversation.
Recording a conversation.
That was
We're
the
just
idea,
having a good
wasn't
time. Yeah, that was it, man. Because the thing is,
You only did Tartaria. Yeah, no, you only did Tartaria.
No, we
didn't
talked
get
about
anywhere else.
Mercury. We talked about Tartaria. We talked
they're
about
connected.
We talked about
In
Man's
my
a Cuntiness. You know, but we
Man,
went a few places,
yeah,
man. We went somewhere. We went some
All
places.
right, I'm not
bro.
disappointed now.
No, we went some
disappointed.
places. We went
All
some
right,
places.
sweet.
Well, mate, happy
on that
birthday.
note, happy birthday.
Here's to the next one. Cheers, brother. Here we go. Hey, look, on the record, we got to start our next book because people ask about that, just so you understand.
Yes, just so everyone knows I'm writing a book. We're writing a book. No,
We're not writing a book. We're going to read another book.
Yeah.
We haven't decided which one yet, though. That was the problem. We found 3.
It's called Spot the Dog.
Yeah, exactly. It's called.
That's about my cognitive
is
capacity.
it the hippopotamus on my roof is eating cake?
The hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus.
Buffalo is bottomless. The shit is popping off the
Well,
top of my
mate,
esophagus.
Let's sign off, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Onwards, upwards, UTC 3. For those of us that are been here since the beginning, I'm shocked, amazed, and eternally grateful. We love you all. Anything else, bro?
Yeah, bro. Stay goated. Drink some water.
Look after yourselves. We'll talk soon.
Wings
Cheers.
up. Wings up.
Thanks, guys.